Analyzing Life.
Considering the Answers.
Lens of Hopefulness with John Pasadino.
With guest
Author Shanti Hershenson.
Welcome, Shanti, to Lens of Hopefulness. So good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm so glad to have an author on because, well, I've had many authors on, but usually the authors are specific to self-improvement. But I do think what you're doing is a form of self-improvement for sure. It is absolutely a form of self-improvement because you've developed a purpose at a young age too, which is kind of different. Most people take a long time to find themselves, but you found to find a purpose, I should say. But you found it young, so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And just so people know what I'm talking about, you have published, you've written 38 books, I think it is, and published 22.
Yeah. And I believe by the time this episode's out, I will have book 23 published.
That is freaking amazing. I almost cursed there, so good thing I didn't. That is amazing. I'm so happy for you. I'm an author too, and I've published 5 books, but only in the last few years, and as a retired adult. So, because it took me that long. Actually, what I did was I started out with writing very short stories and short plays because that's all the time. I didn't have the time. My wife and I were raising kids, and I was working full time. I know you're a full time student too. So it's all relative. I could say, I don't have the time to write. You could also say it. You could say, I never had the time to write. I have to do my studies. I have to work my part-time job. But you find the time when you have that purpose and you find something you love. Am I right? I bet you I am.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And you found that purpose early. Well, I'm liking it to... my son's been playing piano and music since he was like 3 or 4 years old. And now he's a music teacher in a grammar school at age 31. He's just never stopped. He's been in bands, he's been playing instruments, he's been teaching privately. He teaches on YouTube, now he's teaching in school. So it's his life. Do you get a sense that that is the same thing for you, that it's going to be your life?
Definitely. I've never really had a doubt about that. This is what I wanted to do when I was a kid. It's what I want to do now. I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
Great. And there are many success stories like that in the world, like childhood actors that keep going and stay in it. And you look at their biographies and you go, wow, they've been doing this since they were really young. And the same thing, like I said, for musicians, a lot of musicians, I feel. Authors, I don't know specifically of any that started very, very young, but they probably are. Do you happen to know by any chance of, well-known authors?
Yeah. So, do you know the book The Outsiders? Pretty much everyone reads it in 7th grade.
Yeah.
The author was 16 when she published it, and
Okay.
I believe she's still going now. Another example is Christopher Paolini, who wrote the Aragon series. He wrote it when he was 15, and I believe it was published. I might be wrong about that, when he was like 17 or 18. And he's also still going. I met him at a conference.
Oh, great. So you're not establishing a new precedent or a new paradigm. It's there.
No. Yeah.
What is different, though, is you're doing it in this generation, and which I just read an article today in the New York Times that said another country, UK, is going to ban social media from people 16 and under. And same thing happened with Australia. Children are not allowed to be on social media. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because there's such a focus on social media, and there, as we know, there's good and bad in everything. I mean, you're using social media to tell people about your books. How else would they know about it? Are you going to pay a marketer?
Yeah, really.
You know how much you would have to pay a marketer to market for you? If you could do it yourself, it saves a ton of money, and you have so much exposure. I think you have around 50,000 followers on TikTok. Is that correct?
75,000 now.
75,000. Who's counting? Yeah.
I need to update that bio.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. And so what I was getting at is that I feel like we've become such a video-centric society in so many ways. Even the news, it's all very, like, a lot of clips and constant clips. And now, and it's providing dopamine hits, too, for people. That's one of the issues that even as an adult, I find myself, I'm going to pick up my phone. I'm not ashamed to say I have all these because I do market this podcast. I do market my book. So I have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, Blue Sky, Medium, because that's a blogging site, Threads, Substack, another blogging site, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Notion, which I haven't even really used. I think it's more of a tool for productivity, and Reddit. So I have all those on my phone. So I can conceivably sit here and go to each app and check on each app, and it'll keep me busy, but I'm not really accomplishing anything. I'm not writing. I'm checking apps to see if I got the bell rang. So, it's really a phenomenon that, again, it's hard to fathom how you've been so disciplined to be able to write so much with those distractions looming. How the heck do you do it?
Oh my gosh. I am not amazing at it. I have definitely gotten a lot better. I still in some ways struggle with that. So one thing I do is that I have a goal and I have to write 1,000 words every single day. I have been doing this since I was in seventh grade. Not writing 1,000 words is not an option. So, but with that, I do find myself, I'll be writing and then I'll be like, I've written, 200 words. Okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do some scrolling, or I'm gonna like look something up that's random. And so for me, I have to get really good at noticing this pattern and being like, hey, you are completely procrastinating right now. You are not doing what you're supposed to. Let's come back to the writing. And then once you're done with that writing, then you can scroll and look at that fun video or listen to that song that will not help you write and has no relation to the book you're writing. And hey, it'll actually feel a lot better and more satisfying, and it'll give you a lot more dopamine if you're doing this when you know you don't have that really long to-do list and you don't have 700 more words to write.
Right.
So
Right. Great points. There's one of the self-help books I read a long time ago, one a really good one by M. Scott Peck. It was called The Road Less Traveled, and he was talking about delaying gratification. One of the issues he came up with was issues in our society is people do not want a delayed gratification. They want immediate gratification. So the book writing process, like for me, if I was going to get a dopamine hit just from the day I was finished with the book, then that's one thing. But if I'm getting it along the way as I'm writing, and I do find that I get locked in, and I enjoy communicating, developing my characters, and I look forward to being with them again. Does that sound familiar to you?
definitely.
And it's like they're my creations. I find it to be so gratifying. But it took me a long time to get to that point. It truly did. When I got into the self-publishing process, I got into self-publishing like you did, because I didn't want to send out manuscripts and wait for a year and then have to go back and forth 100 times. I mean, we do that with our editors, I know. We have to go back and forth. Yeah. And put in, take some stuff out or whatever, make little subtle changes here and there. But I wanted to produce something right away, relatively right away, because I was used to that. I'm actually an improviser also, so I get on stage and I perform with people. We make up stuff on the spot, and so I was used to that, like very fast dynamic of producing something in the moment. So how could I translate that to book writing? And the answer is what I was just saying, is developing those characters and being with them. And then, and it's also ties into mindfulness too, where I start it's almost like a meditation when I'm writing. I lock out other things, the worries and cares, anxieties, and I just write. And I get lost in it. Do you find that also?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one thing that's amazing is I have like noise canceling AirPods now.
Oh, yeah.
And so everything is like when I'm writing, everything's gone. At the same time though, I don't write in empty, quiet spaces. I tend to go to cafes. So even
Okay.
though I am like solely focused on this and this is what I'm doing, I am also surrounded by this like ambiance and this like noise.
Yeah.
So it's like both of those things. And yet, even though I'm surrounded by people and interesting things, I am focused on what I'm working on. And I try to remain focused on that until I'm done. Though, given the little snippet I shared earlier, that's
Yeah.
not usually what happens. But
Well, I give you a lot of credit. Where do you think for being able to establish that in your life, and what are the roots of it? Do you feel, is it the education system that you happen to be in and where you are, the particular school, your parents, or guardian, or siblings, or friends? Where do you think, or did it just come natural to you?
ooh, so
Tough question, I
the
know.
writing itself,
Yeah.
let's see, it's a little bit of okay, hard to explain. I think a part of it definitely was natural. I had this just like obsession and interest in writing and creating ever since I was old enough to understand what that was.
Hmm.
I am lucky enough to have a very supportive family, though I don't think that has like directly contributed to my ability to write and my ability to just keep producing work day in and day out.
Yeah.
That said, like so much of what I write, I mean, and not all of it, because I also write a lot of fun, like fantastical, crazy stuff, but a lot of it is based on true events or just inspired by things I've seen and experienced and opinions I have, maybe.
Yeah.
So, in that way, my writing is largely influenced but by the environment in which I live.
Great. I think you're a fortunate person to be able to do that. I mean, to experience what you're experiencing, and I think you can be an inspiration to many. And I don't know what kind of feedback you've gotten. Have you gotten feedback on social media from people that said, "Hey, I'm writing a book too. I love what you're doing." Have you experienced that at
Every
all?
day.
Oh, good, good. That's again a positive sign and fits in perfectly with Lens of Hopefulness. Here we are, establishing hope. Yeah, because teens are typically considered a difficult time, just like they say the terrible twos or whatever.
Yeah.
And as you go along through life, because teens are again trying to find themselves, trying to establish independence, and if they don't have, like I didn't have a way of establishing my independence, I kept searching for it, but I really never found it until later on. And I may have acted out at times or experimented with things I shouldn't have experimented with. And I got in with not a horrible crowd, but with a crowd that was into experimenting with drinking and stuff like that, which thankfully turned me off right away. I wasn't into it. I didn't like alcohol. I did it just to be accepted for a while. It was like a peer pressure thing. It was like, okay, okay, we're gonna go drink some beers. Okay, great. And I'm like, well, but I was accepted in that group. So I find it pretty rare. I mean, thankfully, my kids found stuff. I got them involved. My approach was to get them involved with as many activities as they could handle to keep them busy, and so that they can find something. And sure enough, the one son found music, and he also found sports. He liked baseball. And my other son got into video. He's always, from a very young age, he would hold a camcorder. And then he ended up going to school for television production, and he became a professional videographer and editor. So I will say that I think it's a good idea for parents to present as many opportunities to their kids as possible. That's what I feel. And don't let them just just use this. Like, of course, I'm a bad example because I have all the apps. But if the app is used as if the apps are used as babysitters, that is really not a good idea. In other words, they're quiet, right? Like if you could just sit in a corner and just be quiet and scroll, but then you're not accomplishing anything. I mean, it's keeping you busy to a certain degree, but you're not exercising your brain or becoming resilient at any one particular thing. And also, you can get disappointed with social media. You can, how come that guy has so many likes and I don't? So that I found. Anyway, you have a new book out too, right? Are you working on a new one that's coming out on Amazon? I believe you were saying earlier. Did you say that earlier?
Yeah, so I have book number 23, which is the first in what will hopefully be a trilogy.
Wow.
And it's called Wolfgang One, and it is about this society in which everyone is a clone of someone, like an important historical figure who has lived before.
Yeah.
And basically from the moment they are born, they are conditioned to live up to that potential of like their source. And so the main character, based on the title, is a clone of Wolfgang Mozart. And he's had a little bit of like a rocky past, yet he is on the verge of his adulthood. He's about to be released into society. And when he finally has a DNA test, it yields some concerning results that sort of sends him on this internal and external spiral trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
And that might lead to some devastating results.
Sounds enticing.
It's a fun book. It is being the first installment. It's very much build up for like the crazy stuff that's going to happen next. And so yeah, in it there's a little bit of action, quite a bit of violence. I mean, not quite a bit, but some sort of intense moments, and yet also really sweet and sort of establishing connections between the other clones. So it really has everything, and it's really a nice book, and I'm really excited about it.
Great. And how do you plot out the stories? I mean, I'm a member, by the way, I'm a board member of Long Island Authors Group. It's about 100 authors who encourage reading and writing anywhere, but especially in Long Island, New York, where I live. And one of the expressions when we commiserate, get together the authors, we say, what type of writer are you? Are you a pantser? We call a pantser, meaning you write by the seat of your pants. You just write and don't plan out. Of course, we need to establish some form of structure, right? Beginning, middle, end. But sometimes I just let it fly. And my improv has influenced that. I just will keep writing. And then I'll go back and make sure I have the components in the formula, because every story has a formula. We know that. But what style do you write in? Do you plan out? Do you have a whiteboard or storyboards or anything like that to assist you?
I do actually have a whiteboard in my room, but I haven't touched it in like 2 years. Okay. I am definitely, and I've always been, a little bit more of a pantser.
Okay.
That said, I don't think I'm entirely purely a pantser. I also, I do have, as I'm writing these sort of bullet points for like what I want to happen next, I have sometimes like paragraphs written of like, okay, this needs to happen in this, and this is what it means for the story. Just keeping those ideas organized. And though when I start out, often I am just writing whatever comes to mind. And it also depends on the book. I have some books where I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen, and it's very important that I know what happens. In other books where I'm like, yeah, let's just see where this goes. And in the second draft, I'll make it seem like I knew what I was doing. But overall, with almost all of my books, by the time I'm about halfway through the book, maybe a little bit more, maybe less, I have all these bullet points as to where the rest of the story needs to go, and I know everything that's going to happen, and there aren't as many surprises.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Authors like me like hearing how other authors work. Have you ever heard of a tool called Plotter by any chance?
I have.
I happen to have it, but to be honest with you, I haven't been able to stick with it because it's just another layer of. And by the way, people, those who are listening, Lens of Hopefulness with me, your host John Pasadena, and my guest Shanti your last name pronunciation.
Hershenson.
I knew that. I was just testing you, Hershenson. So they give you all these templates, by the way. So Plotter, Plottr, gives you all these different templates. I'm looking at it now. I don't know if I could actually bring up it up on a screen share. I could try. What did that do? Oh, that's your website. All right, we'll get back to that later. It gives you all kinds of templates, so like 8-beat stories, 16 beats. I mean, you name it. It has so many different. The snowflake method, the 12 levels of intimacy, 12-step mystery formula, 24-chapter novel outline. I mean, there's like 50 of these. And what you do is it gives you like if anybody can envision a flow chart with boxes, and you basically put each story beat in each box. It's actually pretty cool if you can stick to it. And then the idea is to write the components of each story beat. You write out like a few pages in beat 1, a few pages in beat 2, but I couldn't stay with it. Sorry, Plotter people. I will try to get back to it. I did buy a lifetime license because like, this is going to really keep me focused. And it is great, but not for a pantser. It's hard for a pantser. And maybe I'm just not using it right. I don't know. Getting back to your website, I'm going to jump to your website a second. Let's see if that worked. Yay, it worked. It worked.
Yay.
Because we've had some technical difficulties, folks. So Shanti Hershenson, I got that almost perfect. This is your website, and you have a newsletter, so people go sign up for the newsletter, shantihershenson.com, and let's bring up your books also. All right, so here we can see, is this the latest one?
Oh, no, that is actually my first book.
Oh, okay. That's your first book. Okay.
That was my first novel.
Okay, great. I haven't written a novel yet, by the way. I've been talking about me being an author. I've only written short stories, poems, and short plays. I do have a novel in the works. I promise I'll get it out there, folks. Just kidding.
Hey, that's still awesome.
Yes. So these, Bionome Lock, Bionome Blackout, Bionome Nightmare, these are part of the series, obviously.
Yeah.
That we're looking at. And for those that are listening, we're on Shanti's website, and those who are on YouTube, you're seeing it in front of you. And so this is another anthology here. Eris Undressed Duology.
Oh yeah, this was so the first book was published back in 2022. I have not written the second book, but that is absolutely something that I need to do.
Okay. All right, so we'll get back to that. We have a trilogy.
That's the one that's coming out.
Okay,
Yeah.
This is Wolfgang One. That's the one you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That's coming out. I love the covers, by the way. Are you doing? I've done my own covers. How are you doing these covers? How are you approaching them? Sorry.
Oh, I hire cover designers, so I've worked with a handful of different artists and companies.
They're doing a fantastic job. And one of the things that I have had issues with is just that. Again, in my haste to get books out, I use Canva. And I was like, this looks okay to me, but I'm not a professional book designer. And I don't know if the fact that I didn't use a professional designer had impact on sales. I think it might have had impact on sales. I'm scrolling through all the different books that you've written, and there are so many. Wow. And of course, these are all available on Amazon, and on the website you can see the Purchase Now button, which is very convenient. So great. I love all these covers are beautiful. Look at this one. This one is Little Green Man. And I just saw, for those that are listening, I just saw Disclosure Day, the new Spielberg film, and that looks very familiar. That cover guy there. Have you seen the movie yet, by any chance?
Oh my gosh, I need to watch it. My mom went and saw it the other day.
Okay, so
I need to see it.
No spoilers. But this book, Little Green Man, says perfect for fans of E.T. and the X-Files. So if you're a fan of Disclosure Day, I know you're gonna like this book. This is one that I need to read right away. I can tell you now, because just after seeing that film, and I'm a fan of Spielberg's other books, other films like Close Encounters, of course, E.T. All right, so we could scroll for a very long time over all the books. I want to get to, you do events also. Let's bring that up and see what it looks like. Let's see if I don't mess that up. It looks like you've been doing events. Teenage author and poet. Okay, so you have a table there. Is that a real person next to you? Wait a second.
No, that's a cardboard cutout of one of my characters.
Okay, all right, because I was getting nervous there. Very good. So you're in bookstores. This is Fan Expo Anaheim. Oh, that's coming up, June 26th to 28th, 2026, Anaheim Convention Center. If you're out in California, in the Southern California area, this is your chance to meet Shanti and get a book signed. Oh, wow. I wish I could come out there. And you just did this one, May 17, 2026, a street festival. If you ever, where I was showing all of Shanti's book signings, I'm so happy that you're out there, because that's a huge part of it. That's one of the areas that I'm a little weak in, I must admit, is the marketing of myself and getting out there and talking about my books. I am doing a book, an event the end of June 28th. It's at a lavender farm.
Oh, that's cool.
Out east where I live, there are farms, and they're going to have tables for authors to sell books. And I'm a member of the Long Island Authors Group, as I said earlier. So we'll have a tent, and there'll be several of our authors within that tent where people can buy books. And there's other stuff for sale, like crafts and stuff like that. You've seen that before too, at the craft fairs or whatever. It's actually fun as an author, I find, to do the fairs when I do them, because I get to keep an eye on my table, and I get to walk around and see what everybody else is producing. And it doesn't matter what it is. I just love any kind of creativity.
I will say I am having to start over again because I am moving for college. So I'm about to have to find a whole new network in new events.
Okay. And what can you say what college you chose?
Of course.
Are you okay with that?
I'm going to Bryn Mawr College.
Bryn
Mawr, in Philadelphia.
Oh, Philadelphia, you'll be east.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. Oh, and Philadelphia is a great town. It truly is. Yeah. My wife and I went there last year just to see the sights. It's there's so much history. With Ben Franklin and Independence Hall and the Liberty Bell, and there's great food. It's a really cool town. I think you picked a great place to go to school. And it's going to be a great place to sell you to. Actually, they have West Coast, East Coast too, making contacts on both sides. So great move. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I wonder what your major will be.
It's hard to guess.
Now, I listened to you on another podcast, and you always do a great job, by the way, in your interviews, as I was doing a little research.
Thanks.
And you were saying that I think you were saying you were thinking about branching out to screenplays, or maybe you did already. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, I have taken some classes, so I am familiar with screenwriting, and I have written a few short films. It's definitely something I'm interested in. I will say writing novels is in writing fiction and nonfiction. Just writing prose, I would say, is my favorite. That said, I also really do love screenwriting. I think it would be really cool to potentially write for film, though ultimately the way I see it is I'm okay, I'm going to write novels, and then hopefully these novels will be adapted into movies, and then that's how I'll do that.
Gotcha. Well, I have to tell you that I've taken screenwriting courses. I was actually a member of Long Island Screenwriters Group for a while. It's no longer in existence now. And I did write a full screenplay at one point. I do have it in the cabinet behind me. And I entered into a contest. Long story, but let me get back to the point. So I had gone to another seminar on screenwriting, and one of the honest instructor said, let me give you advice. Write the novel first. Yeah, that's the root of it. Because you could either adapt it yourself, or somebody will come and say, we want to do this, and they'll adapt it for you. I mean, you see it all the time. I just saw an old movie that Tennessee Williams wrote a playwright from, the 1940s, 50s, famous playwright. So many of his plays were Streetcar Named Desire, were made from plays to films. And, it's the case with playwrights and novelists where their original work is made into a film, because there's so much material there. In a novel, you think about the hundreds of pages and the detail of the characters. Now, do they always work? No, not always. It depends on the screenwriter and the director. Are you familiar with the novel Catch-22?
Yeah.
Joseph Heller. That's one of my favorite novels, and with all due respect to the late Mike Nichols, who directed the film, and Alan Arkin, who I think was a phenomenal actor, the late Alan Arkin, I just didn't like the film. It didn't work for me. It didn't capture the detail. It didn't capture the humor, because they used a lot of switching. A lot of times they do switching cameras and making it kind of artsy, And when you do that, it takes away from, you can't possibly capture the timing of the comedy, I feel. It's very hard. So great. I'm very happy to hear that. You have such a great future ahead. I see, let's see if I could not mess this up. Okay, where am I? I want to go back to your website a second so we cover everything there. Okay, I'm back on the website. Let's see if I can bring it up on the screen. And let's see. We have your contact here. Okay, so we can get on like a newsletter or something. And we have icons on the bottom for your Instagram. Amazon's where the books are. I got this. TikTok, where you have your 75,000 followers, and you have old school.
Yeah.
You have the little bird. That's fine. Why not? And how I saw you had some stuff on the blog. Now, is this like introductions to the books? Is that what this?
Yeah.
was
So
about?
I don't post too often on the blog. I really should. I have been sort of trying to balance, because I do have some writing that could make an interesting blog, and I have on the other hand, I've used it to post previews of my books.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely have posted in the past. Like, you can find the first chapters. I have tried to do release calendars, and then more often than not, I have not stuck to them.
Oh.
But
yeah. Same here. I'm on medium.com. It's a blogging site with, has hundreds of thousands of visitors. And of course, hundreds of thousands of writers too. I'm on Substack as well, at Lens of Hopefulness on Substack, in case anybody's interested out there. But you can have a newsletter there, and it's free to use. And then the newsletter could become paid, where people can pay for your newsletter to come into their inbox. However, it gets back to the point you just made. It's got to be very routine. I was trying to release a new article every Wednesday, but then I just got lost, in other stuff. I'm trying to get this book of, I'm compiling my short plays into a book. I got permission from the publisher to put my short plays in the book. And I've been working on that. I'm like, how am I going to do all this stuff? I'm podcasting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So, and it has to be, I think also, you have to really like that style at a particular time. Like, I was very into it. And that's how I produced one of my books, by the way, is I was writing essays, and mainly comedic essays, observational comedy essays. And I was in a groove with it, just like you'd be in a groove with your novels, right? I'm like writing all this stuff about experiences my wife and I had getting lost with the GPS, or, being annoyed, and she's annoyed with me about leaving crumbs. So I was writing one essay after another, and they were doing so well. And I was like, oh, I love this now. I'm getting good response. I'm having fun. I'm laughing as I'm writing them. And but then I lost that. I was like, I'm not into that now. I don't feel like writing essays right now. I want to do something else. So the point is, to be a successful person on those platforms, it's got to be like your first love. That's my opinion, by the way. I mean, the ones that are successful, I feel the ones that are focusing on, just like you're focusing on novels. But anyway, back to one of my points that was lost along the way there, is I took my best essays and I put my best comedic essays and I put them in a book called Lens of Laughter. And that's out on Amazon, everybody, by the way. So I took my funniest essays, put them in a book, and it's like an easy read. And it wasn't easy to put together because I re-edited the articles, the essays. I had to work with an editor to get them in the right format and all that. And then I of course rushed the cover, I must admit, and I'm so unhappy with the cover. I need to change the cover.
Oh, no.
I was like, I'll keep it simple. And I asked, and my last big topic, by the way, I'm going to get to in a second, as I asked AI not to make the cover, because I made it myself in Canva, but what colors are associated with comedy? What are fun colors? Orange. Okay, I'll make it orange. So that was my my marketing study, and I asked AI. So that's the next topic. You know, it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And it's in the room for school too. I mean, it's in the room when you go to college. It's there. It's hanging there, you know. And we were saying before, I think we were saying about research or whatever. I don't know if we said that earlier, but it's a great research tool. I can bring up top 10 facts of Philadelphia in like a split second. Or you could say, tell me where the nearest, the best Philadelphia cheesecake place, what is it, cheesesteak, best Philadelphia cheesesteak place by my school. And I'll give you, boom, 10 of them in 2 seconds. That's the good stuff. The bad stuff is I was teaching a short story class, and I said, let me just mention AI and show what it's capable of, because it's there. So I said to AI as I was preparing my presentation, because they're going to do it, I feel, the authors eventually, and they're doing it already. So I said, explain a 3-act structure. I put into, I think it was Copilot. And it came back with not only a 3-act structure, but it gave me examples of the acts themselves. And then said, would you like me to write this into a full length, whatever you want?
Yeah.
And I said yes to see what it would do. And I was like, oh my God, it takes me like months to write that. So how do you resist the temptation? That's one of the questions.
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
So for me, so much of what I enjoy about writing is the process itself. I love, sitting down every day. I love having my little, cold drinks, my coffees, and just writing. And even when it's hard, there is a sort of satisfaction in getting through that really difficult plot hole or untying that sort of, situation in the story or figuring out like what is confusing me. And also so much of writing is relaying my own personal experience and how like deep down I have felt about certain things. And I just don't feel like a computer can properly convey that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it takes away so much of the fun and so much of the joy and so much of why I do it if I just go and I tell a computer like, hey, can you write this for me?
I think that's a fantastic answer, and it's been the answer for me too. I have to be a senior citizen. If I stop using my brain, it's going to quickly atrophy, just like a muscle, but more so as a person ages. If I just decide to sit in my chair and just use the remote and never get up, my muscles are going to shrink. And I think the same thing is with the brain. And a lot of what's being produced is schlocky too. If you ever take a look and just put something in, it comes back with this very schlocky, odd, the phraseology, and it's like it has this fear of it's like it's a built-in system where it doesn't want to offend or something, or it doesn't want to go here, there. It weighs out different options, and it comes out sounding very plastic, like it's trying to appease the readers of the story. Now, with that being said, it could become very sophisticated, and will over time. Like Claude is huge now, and you could tell it to write in the style of Hemingway. You could tell it to write in the style of Shanti or John Pasadino, and it will absorb our style, and it will do its best to mimic us, and that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are books out there that are written with AI. There's no doubt about it. And it's kind of a shame. You know? And there are people, like even on Substack, that are promoting courses on AI and how to do your entire newsletter with AI. And it's there. It's part of the economy. It's not going away. And so we'll have to roll with it and hope that I firmly believe there's always a what do you call it, people go back to the way they like to go back to retro. I call it retro. The video games have gotten so sophisticated. Let's go retro and play the good old fashioned simple game, that we used to play, or a card game, something. You yearn for it after a while. You have to get pounded with all this new stuff. So I think we'll be okay. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And certainly you will be, because you love what you do, and it's going to come out in your work. That's, I think, where the rubber meets the road, is the love and the passion for the work which you have is going to come through. And I find that in acting, because I'm an actor also, and I've been studying acting and actors my whole life. The person like a Meryl Streep, there's so many great actors. It just you can't replicate that with AI. They've built up years and years of experience, and it gets tapped into. Like if they're going to play a scene where they've lost a loved one, for example, they're bringing up what they felt. And I've been there, by the way, as an actor. I brought up inside, I'm feeling what I felt when my father passed away, how broken I was, and I'm putting that into the character. And AI will never be able to find that. At least my version of it, that's for sure. And I think it's the same thing with your characters. Even though you're creating these fantasy characters, I'm sure there's little bits of you in there. Would you say so?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I find that too, in the plays, in the stories. I was just with a group of actors last night, a bunch of friends, and we were talking about a play I wrote called Memories, where an actor was a really good actor, but he was insecure, and he couldn't memorize his lines, so he had a little transmitter put in his ear. And it became a comedy because the thing wasn't working, and he was frozen, and it was a comedy. But I said to my friend Mike last night, who played the part, I said, that was me in real life, by the way. You were playing me. He's like, yeah, I knew that. I already knew that. All right, so next up for you is college, where you're going to write like crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
And interesting is I actually wrote a play called Red Man Blue that'll be in the book that comes out, and was based on a capstone assignment. It was a writing assignment and from college. And I decided to adapt it to a short play, a short monologue. So I think you're going to come up with so many incredible ideas by being in another part of the country, plus observing all these new people around you and the school and how it works and everything. So I'm very excited for you.
I'm really excited too.
So now I want to go back to the web, since I'm on a roll here. And let me see if I could do this. Because earlier, people who are listening, I had a technical difficulty where I completely messed up the screens. And Shanti was so gracious to hang in there while I tried to find where I was going. And even during this broadcast, I was like, where am I? Because I'm using this fancy software. But let's go to, I think I got this right, Amazon? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could see that Shanti's books, if you're watching this, they're on Kindle. Great. I'm glad you're doing that. And on paperback. And I think I saw that you were on Kindle Unlimited in certain cases also.
Yeah. And I also have some hardcovers too, if that's your thing.
Good. Because so go out there and find Shanti Hershenson. See that? Nailed it. And what about, you could see all the books lined up here on Amazon. They're all just a click away. and read a book. I mean, people, if you're not reading books, please read some books. And by the way, I saw some reviews, so well reviewed too. And how are they selling? Are you doing good with the sales?
Yeah. I mean, it's been great.
Good, good. So that's that part. I love, I'm on Kindle Unlimited, by the way, where I pay like $10 a month. And I'm able to read like millions of books. You know, I mean, I read typically, well, shoosh, I read more than one book at one time. And I actually listen to books too. I don't know if are your books on Audible by any chance?
Not yet, but I'm working on it because I get
Good.
that question a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I have somebody that's doing one of my, I call it a novella. I think it's a novella length. Somebody's recording that for me now. An actor's friend's son went to USC for acting, and he's doing vocal, what do you call it, voiceover work. And he did a little segment for me, and I was like, "You got the job, do it." So it'll be out by Christmas. It's a story called Christmas Lost Then Found, loosely based on my grandparents, and it has all the broken Italian accents in it, so he can do Italian. And I think it's going to just add a whole new view of the story. And I'm listening currently to Prince of Tides, which is an incredible book. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Prince of Tides. And I like John Grisham because I like the legal stuff. And the voices are absolutely incredible. It's like, you know, I know readers like to read themselves and come up with use their imagination to fill out the characters, because we as authors don't give every detail, right? But this makes it where I could cut my grass. I'm listening to a book. I'm like listening to chapters. So I'm banging out these books because I'm able to bring this other form in. So I hope you do. I hope you do get into it. Actually, Johnny, who's doing who's doing the book for me, I'll see how it works out. And I'll forward you his information. In case he's new, he's starting out. He's
That's awesome.
He just graduated USC. He's auditioning for TV shows and plays, and out in Hollywood, California area. And he's doing this little side thing where he's going to do audiobooks, and I think I'm his first customer. So because he's new, he's not going to charge a huge amount. I'll cut that out, Johnny. I'm going to cut that part out. Yeah. So, and Amazon has this whole arm where it's called ACX. Yeah. Where, and actually it takes time though. You could do it yourself. I know I could do it myself, but it's a lot. It's a lot because you have to not only get the technical side of it down, like right now, see the way I'm talking into the microphone. So then he went to the corner. You got to get that clean. Otherwise it sounds awful. So best to leave it for the professionals at this time. I'm going to give you the last word because I've been yapping so much because I'm so excited. So I want to ask you, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? After you graduate college, where do you see yourself? Can you share that with us?
Okay. I'm gonna say hopefully, but it's not hopefully, it's like please. More successful than I am now, perhaps venturing into traditional publishing, into the film writing worlds, into the playwriting worlds, continuing to produce large amounts of work and yet reaching new audiences.
Yeah.
Basically having this super amplified version of what I have now.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it. And speaking of which, by the way, I wrote a short play, a monologue, and it was in a play festival near me. And a woman came up to me and said, "I love the writing. This is so good. I want to make this into a film." I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure, great, yeah." Because you know how it is when you're at book signings, whatever, people come up to you and they say things like, "Oh, wow, this is, I'm gonna buy like 100 copies of this," and they're being nice. But
Yeah.
this woman said this, and then years went by, and then she contacted me again. I want to make the movie. I'm like, what? You want to make the movie? And she said, do you mind if you send me a copy of the play? And I said, yeah, sure. And she was like, it was actually a one-person thing. It was
Oh, that's cool.
very dark, where a husband is talking to his wife, who's in the casket in front of him. Sorry, it's dark, but very dark. But anyway, she read it again, and she said, would you mind if I added another character to the screenplay? I think the wife should be represented. So she did that. In other words, there was the wife laying there in the casket, but then she put the wife so that she was, observing the man and even talking and saying some words. And I was like, she's like, are you okay with this? And I read the screenplay. She's like, yeah, sure, do it. She's never going to do it. She's just saying it, but she did it. She's like, the film's ready to be released, and went to a theater, and it was released, and it's been in all these festivals and everything. So I'm waiting for my phone to ring. It hasn't rung, but that's okay. I'm podcasting, so which is another great thing about today. I said all the negatives about social media, but look at us. We have our own bully pulpit. We could say whatever we want, relatively speaking, unless it's offensive. We are going to put this out, this podcast. It's going to go out to the entire world. By the way, everybody, it starts with Substack, and then it goes out to where it's, I'm part of my newsletter. And then this podcast is on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. It's on Audible, where you can listen to books. Someday Shanti's books will be there. And then you can listen to this podcast. You can say, I remember she was on the Lens of Hopefulness with John Pastino. That's her. That's the interview. So it's out there. And something? It doesn't cost me a penny. It only costs me my time to do it. So I encourage everybody, be like Shanti. Take advantage of our technology and KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing. You can publish your own book. You can do your own podcast. Do stuff. Get off the phones. Do stuff. And then get on the phone and buy our stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Shanti, thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining me and dealing with my technical difficulties and rolling with it. You did wonderful. And it was very refreshing for me to talk to somebody from your perspective, too. So thank you so, so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, kitty cat. If you're on YouTube, you just saw a cat. That's not your imagination. Well, have a great summer and lots of good luck with college.
Dude, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
This has been Lens of Hopefulness with John Pasadena.
Streaming on all platforms.
Spread the word.